My school name is called Liu Xiang Tea Club, and I founded this school is about 25 years ago. And until now, I have students more than 12,000. Okay, so I have 11 schools in Japan, 4 in China, and 1 in Hong Kong, also in Myanmar, Thai, Bangkok, and Vietnam, Singapore, and Indonesia. So actually, I'm doing the standard of the Chinese tea art because you know that every school they have their own way of brewing tea, and people want to learn tea. It's not so easy to go in because some will say tea is very strange. Only he know and other people don't know. But I want everyone to know tea. So recently I just started a tea cultural institute or college in Singapore. Okay, so to let more people know about tea. And tea is, I would say that it's very simple. Just a cup of tea, you just drink it. But if you say that you want to taste the tea, then that is difficult. Because if you are tasting, you have to know the fragrance, the taste, and the color of the tea. So I want to make standard for people to learn tea more easily. That is my purpose.
And do you follow some masters or some kind of like tea school?
No, in fact, before, there is no tea school at all. So I had to create my own standard. I collect all these different way of brewing for Chinese tea. So I reform it. So become a standard for the new generation. In our time, no old master. I would say that Chinese tea, they remain only tea culture. No art of tea. They come into art of tea only 30 years, not more than 30 years. Okay? Japanese, they have art of tea. That is 400 years ago. But Chinese, because I would say this country is very, there are so many wars. End of the Qing dynasty, many people attack them. So they are poor. So you know that when some people are poor, they only take care of their stomach, not the culture. So until 1980, Taiwan getting rich. So from there onward, Taiwan start to recreate all the Chinese culture. So tea also one of them. So Taiwan start to recreate the tea culture, and then also from there split out to China, Southeast Asia again, and then China. China, I would say that it's about late 90. Then they start. Because before that they are not so rich. They cannot afford to drink tea. All the good tea is actually from Taiwan. Taiwanese teach them how to do good tea. During the communist time, they are not allowed. Okay?
It's the same in our country. The tea culture spread after the communist regime.
Yes,
fall.
yes.
So then we start.
Yes, that's exactly the same step. I would say the step. I start to drink tea when I'm young, 7 years old, 5 years old, something like that, with my father. So actually, Singapore, or I would say the Southeast Asia Chinese, is more traditional than China Chinese. Okay, so we remain a lot of culture, Chinese culture, in Singapore or in Southeast Asia. So in fact, now we are teaching Chinese how to drink tea. To teach them what is the traditional Chinese culture. My father come from Fujian. So Fujian like oolong tea. So of course, we start touching, drinking is oolong tea. And then later on, green tea and all kind of tea that start drinking. Then we start to doing all kind of tea. Actually, tea, so many, more than 5,000 different kind of tea. My whole life I cannot finish all the tea. I still keep on learning and learning and learning. Before I start tea teaching, actually I have a special coffee shop, my own. And before that I play all kind of wine, whiskey and brandy. So after that I find that coffee, brandy, all this is not much thing to learn. So I stick on tea.
Because it's more diverse.
Yes, and then there are a lot of culture. And for the very beginning, I want to start this tea because I found that Chinese, when they brew tea, very dirty. Not that neat. So the step every time change, no standard. So I try to create the standard, try to make the tea more presentable. So later on, in the 1990, I start to do the table setting. So whenever we see the table setting, you can feel that there is a bit of art. That's your feeling. And then later on, I start to try to create a set. That means the school. So everywhere, every of my school in everywhere in the world, they will follow my standard. So everyone want to go learn how to brew tea is easy. So later on, recently I just start a tea culture institute. And in that school, International Tea Culture School, we're teaching the world tea culture, not only Chinese tea culture. So I myself, I know how to brew matcha, Japanese tea ceremony, Korean tea ceremony, and English, or you call it afternoon tea, high tea, yeah, even Mongolian tea, Morocco tea. All this I have been come across, and I will talk about all these things. Yeah, tea is just like a bridge. It's the center of a culture or center of life. From tea, you can jump to other culture. So how to combine all culture together? I use tea. Make everybody can sit down, have a good communication. They can just communicate with each other with tea. Tea is just daily life. I would say that. But I hope that I would say that a lot of people, they don't know Chinese culture. They start to do some Chinese tea to promote Chinese tea. I hope people like, you want to go to in this kind of event or business, you better understand culture first. Because something like you are not supposed to do. Just like when I learned matcha. So I have to know the Japanese culture. And I study in Japan also. That's why it's very fast for me to understand them. But I can see that a lot of people, they really don't know Chinese culture, and then they start promote Chinese tea. That is wrong. Respect the culture first before, at least you ask somebody who know. You cannot just go to the internet and then just go to the website to do some research and become tea master. There's no way. Of course, you need to have some story to attract people to come into the tea world. Okay, so tea actually from very very early, 4,000 or 5,000 years ago, and what we written down is only 2,000 to 3,000 years ago. So there is 2,000 years we don't know. So we have to listen to all the kind of story. Just make it simple. The way of tea, just how to brew. Okay? And tea is just tea. Tea is for drinking. tea is for you to drink and then make yourself relax. Am I right? So don't make it too complicated. And for Japanese tea ceremony, they are not drinking. They are not tasting. They is learning the heart. Because during 400 years ago, their society is under war. Every day fighting here and there. So they have to make themselves cool down. So that is the place that themselves cool down. And that's why you can see the Japanese tea ceremony. They are inside a small hut, a small room, very quiet. So they don't want some people to disturb because they cannot cool down. Not like Chinese. Chinese, although it's very noisy everywhere, but they can cool down themselves. Japanese, they need the surrounding area, then they can cool down. That is learn. They learn how to cool down by themselves, how to just quiet. So the last, maybe I would say that tea, for the very beginning, is just for drinking. The ending, the purpose of ending drinking tea is for health. Okay, so different countries have their own way of drinking tea. Different countries have their own culture, how to go up to the end. So maybe some people, some races, they go very far away. But the end, they still have the good health and also have a good mind, relaxing mind. So Chinese also very tough. Now they start learning. So I would say that the English, British, they are more concerned is communication. Okay, so different country, different races, different area, they have their own choice. Who is right, who is wrong? No. Everyone have their own way of doing tea.